Hi boys and girls, this is Miss Bowen. For this week, I've put together a few art projects for you to try at home that are weather themed. This project is how to make your very own rain stick using materials that you can find laying around your house. A rain stick is a traditional instrument made from objects in nature to sound like rain. They are used in countries all around the world like Africa, South America, North America, and Australia. The rain sticks are used by Aboriginal or Native people in rituals where they are trying to summon or get the rain to appear for their crops. The rain sticks shown here are made out of dried bamboo or dried cactus, and inside the rain sticks are small gravel or small pebbles or even seeds that when shaken or tilted sounds like little tiny raindrops. You'll also see that the rain sticks are decorated with designs like dots and colors or different kinds of lines. I've also included additional videos for you to check out. One of them is a story that's based in Australia. It's called Big Rain Coming by Katrina Germain. I've also added a clip where you can hear what the real rain sticks sound like. And also there is a video of Native Americans performing a rain dance. To get started with your own rain stick, here's the supply list. If you can, check around your house to find a cardboard tube. Usually a paper towel roll will do, or you could try taping together smaller ones like toilet paper rolls. Sometimes wrapping paper or other rolled paper has a nice cardboard tube inside. If you can't find a cardboard tube, you can fold or roll a piece of paper and tape it carefully to look like a tube. But for a more sturdy project, you're going to want an actual cardboard tube for the best results. You'll also need paper. White paper, like printer copy paper, will do fine, but if you want more color in your design, you might want to think about trying construction paper. You'll need at least 2 pieces. You'll also want coloring supplies like crayons or markers or even paint if you have it and would like to use it. You'll need a cup for tracing circles. You'll want a pencil and scissors. Tape would be best, but if you don't have tape, you can use glue. 2 rubber bands. If you don't have rubber bands, yarn or string might do the trick. Aluminum foil. And if you don't have aluminum foil, I'll show you other options later on. And then something for the sound of your rain stick. You'll want small ingredients like rice, seeds, or beans. First, you want to measure your paper so that it will fit to your cardboard tube. In picture number 1, you can see that I'm just making sure my paper is tall enough to meet the top and bottom of my cardboard tube. In picture number 2, I'm marking small dots with my pencil as I wrap the paper around the tube. And where I'm marking is the very end where I have just enough paper that fits around the whole tube. And then in picture number 3, I'm cutting on that dotted line. What this does is gives me a piece of paper that's just big enough to wrap around the cardboard tube once. I have pictures to show you how to create circles that will be the end covers of your rain stick. In picture number 1, I have traced a plastic cup 2 times to give me circles that are bigger than the size of my cardboard tube. The circle ends of the cardboard tube. In picture number 2, I have traced the cardboard tube on the very end to see where the tube will fit in the middle of the circles. In picture number 3, I cut out only the larger circle. In picture number 4, I did what's called scoring, where I created lines that go from the center out, the center circle out to the larger circle, and I've only cut on those lines. I made sure the smaller circle was left untouched by scissors. Here's a look at different cover designs that I made, each one using different supplies. The first one is a construction paper collage, which I'll show you some pictures on how to create a cover in that style. The second one, I was just drawn with coloring supplies like crayons and markers. And the third one, I actually used a paper bag and I painted on it so that the paint colors would show up nice and bright. You could try any one of these ideas, or maybe you want to make different versions like I have. Before we get started with creating the patterns for the cover, I thought maybe we'd take a little more time to think about what lines we could use for the design and what those lines could mean. You see, as Native people are using a rain stick, they're imagining a nice rainstorm falling down from the sky that will help nourish their crops and might make them grow. I'm going to say different other kinds of weather, and you point to what kinds of lines do you think you could use as a pattern to represent that weather. Let's start with windy. Is there a line, or maybe more than one line, that makes you think of wind? How about rain? Is there a certain line that makes you think of rain? Which line makes you think of a thunderstorm? Which line makes you think of a cloudy day? Is there a line, or more than one, that you would use for a sunny day? Now let's start thinking about how we can create patterns using lines that make us think of weather. Here is a Rainstick cover I made from construction paper, and I collaged the paper, which means I cut and glued different shapes together to make a design. As you can see, I cut smaller strips using different colors, and I cut them to be the size or the width of my paper, how wide it is. On each of those smaller strips, I drew my weather lines. Here I'm thinking about storm and wind. I glued them onto my biggest piece of paper, and I left some space in between. Now I added more to my pattern, which means when you use a pattern, you have lines that repeat or shapes that repeat. In the spaces left, I used a shape to repeat, and that is the circle. You'll see that my circle is changing sizes. I made sure to repeat it and draw it over and over again so that it looks consistent all the way through, or even. Here I was thinking about the sun being the circle. You could copy this design, or you could make up your own design. What lines would you like to use? What shapes? How can you repeat it to look like a pattern? If you don't have construction paper, here's what I did using just white paper, a marker, and some crayons. I wanted to use more than one pattern, lines that repeat, and I was here also thinking about how to repeat color. So I drew sections or stripes that are spread out down my cover. In each section, I made sure I colored them the same to repeat it like a pattern. In the space that was left, I used my weather lines. And I was just imagining, a sky full of wind on a cloudy day. And then I didn't want it to be so white, so I colored the rest of it brown. I was thinking of that natural wood, the bamboo or the cactus that was used in those real rain sticks. When your cover is complete, you're going to want to tape it to your cardboard tube. Then you wrap it all the way around and tape the ends that are left. Try to line up your paper or your cover so that it looks like your pattern is flowing all the way around in an even way. It's time after that to attach only one of those end covers, those circles that you cut out earlier. You can see that I'm having the smaller circle set right on the bottom, and I'm folding the sides down, and then I tightly wrap a rubber band around the end. Leave the other end open so that you can fill your rain stick with items that will help make sound. Here you'll see that I took a piece of aluminum foil, I folded it and I rolled it. Then I turned that foil into a coil that looks like a snake wrapping around. The way I did that was by using a pencil and wrapping the foil from one end, the eraser end, to the other end, the tip. That coil goes inside the cardboard tube, so you see that I'm putting it in the open end. If you don't have aluminum foil, you'll see in the top corner that there are some other options you could try. Or maybe you want to make an experiment where you make different rain sticks and see if the different ways to make a coil changes the sound. You'll see that wrapped around the pencil, I used a pipe cleaner. There's that aluminum foil again, and then at the bottom, that was actually a piece of wire. Next is to add your ingredients to make your sound. In that picture, you see that I have rice in a cup. If you don't have rice, other things that could work are beans, seeds or popcorn seeds. You could try beads. You could even try gravel if you have it somewhere like in your driveway. Once you pour, and you want to pour carefully so you're not spilling it everywhere, your ingredients inside the tube, you'll want to put your other end cover on the open end, closing the rain stick entirely. Now it's ready to test out. As you're using your rain stick, play around with it and see the different sounds you can make. Does it make a difference if you tip it faster or slower? Does it make a different type of sound when you shake it? Maybe you open it up and fill it with other ingredients to see if you can change the sound. Maybe there's other things in your house you can decorate it with. Maybe you want to add feathers or yarn, colorful yarn, stickers, gemstones. Have fun with it and try to make your very own rain dance. The rain stick can be a lot of fun to play with, and maybe you even imagine yourself having your very own rain dance.